The following program is produced by students of the Brian Lamb School of Communication at Purdue University.
On this edition of Fast Track, we sit down with West Lafayette Mayor John Dennis and bring you updates to the State Street project.
And Purdue football is back, but find out what the real game day experience starts on Saturday mornings. Fast Track starts now. Welcome to Fast Track. This week we're coming to you from the Industrial Roundtable at Purdue Memorial Mall. I'm Molly Shaughnessy.
And I'm Tommy Barrett. And if you've driven anywhere in West Lafayette, you've probably run into some kind of construction. And unfortunately, that's not about to change anytime soon.
The city has plans to renovate one of its central roads here on campus. Fast Track sat down with Mayor John Dennis to discuss the effects of the State Street project we'll have on the community and Purdue. Fast Track's Robert Dupler has the story.
Behind me is State Street. It's one of the main routes into Purdue from the southeast, and it's lined with businesses and shops. State Street experiences some of the heaviest traffic in West Lafayette, and the city is starting new construction so that it can better handle all that traffic.
If you've ever been in West Lafayette during say a home Purdue football game or a home basketball game, you realize a lot of our major thoroughfares turn into parking lots. And the reason for that is because there's too many cars trying to go to the same place at the same time without options. One of the challenges that we've had with our community is the fact that all the roads don't make a great deal of sense. So we feel it's incumbent upon us to engineer some of those complications out by making the roads two-way, by narrowing the roads and providing some foot trails, having bump outs for public transportation, and then obviously making it more intuitive and more logical for people to get around campus.
While the final project will help ease the flow of vehicle and foot traffic, the mayor wants to make sure that people know what's coming right around the corner.
It is going to be a mess. For what we've done with the CSO project down at the bottom of State Street Hill and 231 there, the North River Road project, that's invasive, but multiply that times 10. There's going to be a lot of heavy equipment going around, and there's going to be detours, and those detours could change weekly depending upon the speed of the project.
It's not just drivers and pedestrians that'll be affected. At least one local business is already preparing their game plan for how they'll handle next year's construction.
The first thing that we did to start preparing is kind of break down the business and look at how much of our business is foot traffic, how much of the business is delivery, and how much of the business is people who are driving from campus or from another location, utilizing the parking lot or State Street to get to us. If a majority of our business is delivery, then how much will State Street actually hurt us? As long as they, give us the options for delivery drivers to be able to, say, park behind us and still deliver to campus, we shouldn't feel the effects all that much.
Managers understand that they'll still have a huge part to do in reaching out to the community.
I think it's just a matter of always communicating to them how they can still reach us, or delivery is still available and they don't have to go without their hot box breadsticks for a day.
The State Street project is scheduled to be completed in 2019. The next few years will be rough, but businesses and the city both agree that the project will bring good changes for West Lafayette in the long run.
I think long term it's going to be great for us. The smoother traffic can go, the smoother my delivery drivers can move in and out, lowering our delivery times, which increases our business. So I really only see it as a great thing. I think that by 2019, we're going to have the plans in place of how we're going to revamp Chauncey Hill as well. And I think all of that will be considered. So I really look at it only as a positive thing.
We've used the cliche of it being a game changer. Well, it really is, because it's going to change the dynamic of the campus. It's going to change the dynamic of the city of West Lafayette. It's going to take what basically was a small town and turn it into this incredible contemporary development area that's going to celebrate student housing. We're going to have much more retail to accommodate our population base. There's going to be a lot of really diverse and creative investments out there, with the understanding that once you graduate from Purdue with your degree, before the ink even dries, there's going to be an opportunity for you to get gainful employment in West Lafayette.
Robert Dupler, Fast Track News.
Let's take a look at the current weekend weather conditions from our Fast Track meteorologist, Matthew Seedorf.
Thanks, Tommy. We had mild conditions pretty much for the entire week this week, as temperatures have been slightly above normal for this time of the year. As you see, we have had high temperatures in the low 80s throughout much of the area, except the one exception of 79 degrees here in Warsaw, Indiana. Our current satellite shows that we have clouds thickening throughout the area as showers and thunderstorms will begin moving in today. Our current temperature is at 80 degrees right now at 6 o'clock here in Lafayette with a dew point of 68 degrees, which gives a heat index of 83, which makes it feel a little muggy out there for right now. The winds are currently coming out of the south at 7 miles per hour. Our high temperature today was 81 degrees, and our low temperature was at 60, which was at about 6 a.m. this morning, And if you're planning on venturing out for this tonight, we will have showers and thunderstorms throughout much of the evening, as temperatures will be in the low 70s at 73 at 8 o'clock, and they will go all the way down into the upper 60s at about 2 a.m. Will these showers stick around for Saturday and Sunday? I will have more in the forecast later.
Thanks, Matt. When people talk about Indiana, many people think of fields, farms, and the always changing weather. Tornadoes, on the other hand, not so much.
On average, Indiana experiences 21 tornadoes a year. Even though it's a rare occurrence, it doesn't hurt to be prepared. Here at Purdue, the main concern is safety for the students and availability of resources to alert them of severe weather. Reporter Sheena Steffen has more on the story.
On August 24th, an EF3 tornado tore through the city of Kokomo, Indiana, just an hour away from Purdue University. A little over 2 weeks later, Purdue University had another close encounter as multiple tornado warnings were issued. These close encounters cause us to wonder, are students safe on campus? Do most of them know what to do?
A lot of the buildings here on our campus do have at least a basement or underground tunnels, and those are really the safest place to be in the event that a tornado strikes.
Many students here at Purdue grew up familiar with tornadoes.
I've lived in Indiana practically all my life, and initially we just stayed in the dorm, like we stayed in our rooms, and then you started hearing that some people were going downstairs, and then we were like, oh, let's think about it, and my mom was like, maybe you should go downstairs.
But for students not familiar, there are some uncertainties.
I guess stay away from the windows and just keep yourself safe.
The Kokomo tornado had reports of no deaths and very few injuries. Dr. Daniel Dawson explains why.
There was good warning, so people went to shelter and they paid attention, which is great, which is exactly what we want to see happen.
Because people were alert and prepared, there is little harm. That is why it is always important to take watches and warnings seriously.
But we, in general, the severe storms research and forecasting community, are looking at ways that we can better convey warnings and threat to the public.
Along with Purdue's texting alerts and emergency procedures, students can also go to the National Weather Service website for more information on how to be safe during severe weather. Reporting for Fast Track News, Sheena Steffen.
And when we come back, we will take a look at the RAs and their impacts on students in the residence halls.
And later, Fast Track reporter Griffin Schiller has a review on 2 recent movies on this week's Film Friday. Stay with us. Welcome back. Around 36% of Purdue's undergraduates live on campus, which translates to around 11,000 students. Over 300 resident assistants live at 18 various residence halls and assist these students. As for how the RAs are able to keep 11,000 students on the right track, we will send reporter Ben Thomas with the story.
Earhart Hall, where approximately 800 students live at any given time, consists of 8 floors and 2 wings, east and west. On average, each resident assistant is responsible for 50 students and their needs. So why would a student choose to take on such a difficult job?
I actually made the decision to apply for the job as a freshman after talking to my RA at the time. I came in deciding to do engineering, and I knew that's what I wanted to do, but there was always a part of me that really wanted to kind of like be a teacher.
My freshman year, I really enjoyed my RA on my floor. She was really good with planning activities, and she was always there for us whenever we needed her, and I just wanted to be a resource like that for girls coming in freshman year.
The position is extremely time-consuming, which creates challenges and stress.
Probably during my first month or so of being an RA, I experienced a lot of challenges with time management. Just trying to manage time within school, with the job, with other extracurricular activities that I wanted to do. Just trying to make sure that I was allowing time also for myself.
I was really excited about the job. I was excited about the people I was working with, my residents, building community. So I think I was putting too much into the job, so my academics kind of fell because of that.
Involved in the job are several tasks, such as educating and mentoring students, administrative tasks, and building relationships.
Duty 2 to 3 times a week, so that means you're in the building from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and you go on rounds, and it's a fun time, but it also is time consuming because there are also monthly tasks that you have to do, so smoke detector checks, monthly reports.
Every hall has additional resources to assist RAs, such as office staff and a Residence Hall Club president.
TASCA is the Residence Hall Club for Earhart. We plan different events for the residents. It's so fun to see them getting involved in something other than schoolwork. So RAs come to all of the iTASCA events and they help push for the students to come to our events.
For students wanting to be an RA, the first information session takes place in the Shreve Jade Room at 8 p.m.
Biggest piece of advice I would say is be sure that this is what you want to do. Talk to current RAs, talk to former RAs. Do not do it just for the money. When you become a part of Res Life is your life.
Ben Thomas, Fast Track.
Let's check back in with Matthew for a more extended weather forecast for the West Lafayette area.
Thanks, Tommy. If you guys are planning on going out tonight, you might want to take an umbrella with you, as showers and thunderstorms are likely throughout much of the evening hours and through the night. Our low temperature will be 66 degrees. Winds will be out of the south at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation will be 70%. And on Saturday, we should expect continuing showers and thunderstorms with mostly cloudy skies throughout much of the day. Our high temperature will be 80 degrees. Winds will be out of the southwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation will be 60%. And on Saturday night, you should expect evening showers and thunderstorms, but they should clear out in the evening, and we should have mostly cloudy skies throughout much of the night. Our low temperature will be 58 degrees. Winds will be out of the west and shift to the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation will be 30%. And on Sunday, you should expect mostly sunny skies. Great day to watch some football with mostly sunny skies. Our high temperature will be 78 degrees. Winds will be out of the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. For Fast Track Weather, I am Matthew Seidel.
Thanks, Matt. With the Dawn or Doom conference beginning in just under a month, a new exhibit combining art and technology is now in the residence at the Robert L. Ringel Gallery in the Stewart Center.
The exhibit, titled Inner Space, explores the curiosity of virtual reality over the years. Reporter Ryan Nally visited the Ringel Gallery to experience the hype surrounding this exhibit.
Interspace at the Ringel Gallery combines the next wave of virtual reality with artistic and design perspectives. The exhibit is curated by Fabian Winkler and Dr. Shannon McMullen.
One of the tracks this year is virtual reality, and because of the Oculus Rift coming out this year, there's a lot of talk about how artists can use that kind of technology for creating art.
This exploration of art in virtual reality is made possible by the Dawn or Doom conference.
Dawn or Doom is a technology conference focused on the future of emerging technologies. We've invited faculty from Purdue and outside experts to talk about their field of expertise and what they think is going to happen in the next 10 years.
The Oculus Rift displays art by painter and programmer Rachel Rawson in a piece titled N = 7.
I've never experienced anything like it before. I could feel my body, in real life when I was moving, even though I wasn't actually moving. It felt like I was moving and exploring things and actually falling, and it gave me, the feelings of actually doing these motions and moving places.
Interspace will be in residence through October 8th, and if you'd like to know more about the Dawn or Doom conference on October 3rd or 4th, check out their website at purdue.edu/Dawn or Doom.
We invite people to come in and try these pieces out and leave us a note about what you think about them, and join us again on October 3rd for another reception in conjunction with Dawn or Doom, and the artist Daniel Salter will come and talk about his piece.
Ryan Nally, Fast Track News.
For many generations of fans, Saturdays are reserved for college football. But here at Purdue, the weekends are more than just football games.
We took to the north parking lot of Ross State Stadium to find out what goes into tailgating at a Purdue game and why these traditions are steeped into family cultures around the area. Fast Track's Dakota Simon has the story.
It's football season here in West Lafayette, Indiana, and even the rain couldn't stop most of the dedicated Purdue football fans from cheering on their favorite team. For most of those fans that decided to brave the weather, the tailgate fields is where it all begins. A storm front rolled into Indiana late Friday night. By Saturday morning, 3 inches of rain had dropped onto West Lafayette. The bad weather, though, didn't keep diehard fans like John Hodge from tailgating.
And we've been doing this for 20 years. I graduated Purdue in 1988. Moved back here in 96 and been doing it since. And I born and raised from West Lafayette, born and raised a Boilermaker, so I've had season tickets since then.
For these tailgaters, football season means family, friends, and good food. Whether it's catered or homemade, the tailgating tables are always overflowing.
Today's Mexican day, but I always cook jalapeno poppers. But today's Mexican day. We're at margaritas here in a little bit. Got the blenders ready to fire up. Every week's different, so we always have a big spread of food.
Brats, burgers. Sometimes we mix it up a little, do some ribs, chili. Depends on the weather.
But for most of these Boilermakers, it's all about getting together on football Saturdays.
We actually go to Ohio State and Illinois and the other stadiums, and we're treated with great respect and welcome, and we try to do the same thing for opposing fans as they come in.
I think the camaraderie of just people getting together, enjoying a good time, reminiscing about when we were younger and what we did. Plus also, it's just a tradition.
Fast Track Sports, Dakota Simon.
A sequel to one of the most groundbreaking horror films of all time and a biopic on the famous whistleblower Edward Snowden, this weekend definitely has some diverse options for those looking to hit the cinemas, with Blair Witch and Snowden opening this Friday. Back again with another Film Friday is our own Griffin Schiller.
Hey everyone, Griffin Schiller coming to you all from Goodrich Quality Theaters, Wabash Landing 9. And I'm going to be bringing you guys the update on the films coming out this week. So we have 2 big films coming out. Blair Witch, which is the sequel to the cult classic hit Blair Witch Project, which came out in the 90s. Very successful, really revolutionized the way horror films are done today and really started the whole found footage genre. And then on the other side, we have Snowden, which is kind of a biopic on Edward Snowden, who was the guy who leaked classified CIA information about the government watching us and tapping into our phone calls and all that stuff. So those are the 2 big movies coming out, 2 very different movies. And I got a chance to see Snowden, still haven't seen Blair Witch yet, but I assure you it's on my list. It looks fantastic. So I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on Snowden. So Snowden, for those of you who don't know, is directed by Oliver Stone, who's the guy behind Wall Street, JFK. He's a very, very divisive director because he takes a side and then he kind of shoves it in your face. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because he does make good films. So Snowden is no different, so just keep that in mind when you're going in. We have Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Edward Snowden, the man himself, the infamous whistleblower. And we have Shailene Woodley, who, if you don't know, she's the girl from the Divergent series. She is playing his love interest. And then we've got a few other characters in there. Rhys Ifans, who played the Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man. Even Nicolas Cage shows up for a little bit. So it's got a fantastic cast. Everyone gives a great performance. And that's honestly probably my biggest pro I have with the film is the performances across the board. They're all top-notch, especially Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He gives a phenomenal performance as Edward Snowden. I mean, he nails the voice, the look, the mannerisms. For moments, I honestly forgot that I was watching Joseph Gordon-Levitt and not Edward Snowden. Very, very good performance. Don't know if he'll get nominated, but it's definitely a performance worth mentioning and talking about because it's up there with some of his best. And then for Shailene Woodley, I thought that this is possibly her best performance she's ever given. I mean, we don't really have much to go off of. The Divergent series is, in my opinion, not very good. But I understand there's people out there who like them, so I can't knock them on that. But by far, Shailene Woodley gives the performance of her career, and I can't wait to see her in more things. Now, the movie as a whole, it kind of goes into depth about Snowden's life leading up to the events. So there's a lot of background information about the character, which was interesting, But I gotta say, after a while, there was a little too much unnecessary information thrown at us. And ultimately, it left me a little bored. The movie is way too long. It's clocking in at about 2 hours and 15 minutes, I believe, and it did not need to be that length. They spent way too much time covering unnecessary information, kind of dragging things out. And ultimately, my biggest problem with the movie was that it was just boring. I mean, when it got to the part where he was getting ready to leak the information, when he actually did it, and then when the government was kind of after him and all that stuff, that was really interesting. And that definitely had me on the edge of my seat. But beforehand, all this build-up, it was just kind of like, all right, let's get to the next important part that's going to contribute to him leaking the information. And I was not impressed. I think Oliver Stone had a potential hit on his hands with this film and had the potential to make it very riveting, on your edge of your seat type political thriller, and he missed the mark big time on this. Now, with all that said, I didn't hate the movie. I think it's definitely worth seeing, especially if you're interested in the whole Snowden thing. I think he does a pretty good job of depicting the incident. With all that out of the way, I gotta say that I was disappointed by Snowden. I didn't hate it, but I was definitely expecting a lot more. I was expecting some serious Oscar material here, some, maybe best director, best film, drama, whatever you want to call it. I was expecting more from the movie, and I just didn't get that. So ultimately, I think I'm going to be giving Snowden a solid 3 out of 5. Check it out if you're interested, but I think I might actually send you to go see Blair Witch this weekend, simply because it's much shorter. It's a sequel to a cult classic that I'm very, very excited for. And I think all the hype surrounding the movie has built it up to be a fun ride, especially for all you horror fans out there. This looks like it's going to be very promising. So maybe go see Blair Witch. All right, well, hopefully you all decide to go to the movies this weekend and support the industry, because it's a fun time. So, reporting from Good Rich Quality 9, Wabash Landing Theaters, I've been Griffin Schiller. Take care.
Before we go, let's check in one more time with Matthew to see what we can expect this weekend.
Thanks, Tommy. It's been a nice day today, but clouds are beginning to move into the area, as we should expect some showers and storms throughout much of the night tonight. As you currently see, our high temperatures today we had a 79 up here in Chicago, we had an 81 in Champaign, an 83 in Terre Haute, and an 85 in Dayton. Our current temperatures are pretty much in the upper 70s and low 80s throughout much of the area, as we have an 81 here in Kokomo and an 80 currently here in Lafayette. Our high temperature today was 81 degrees, which is a little bit above normal for this time of the year. Our low temperature was 60 degrees, which was set at about 6 o'clock this morning. Our record highs for the day are 98 that was set back in 1939 and 34 degrees, which was set back in 1916. We shouldn't expect any kind of extremes going on for the rest of the weekend. Our current radar shows a line of showers and storms currently about to move into the area. As these should be persistent throughout much of the night, we should expect plenty of chances of showers and storms throughout much of the evening. As our futurecast shows, at 2 a.m. this morning, we should have showers and storms continuing to move throughout much of the area. These will clear out during the morning hours, but as soon as 2 o'clock comes back during the day, we should see another chance of showers and storms throughout much of the afternoon. Our low temperatures tonight will generally be in the low 60s to upper 60s throughout much of the area, with the exception of Warsaw, which should have a low temperature of 55 degrees tonight. My forecast for Saturday will be mostly cloudy skies with showers and thunderstorms likely. Our high temperature should be 80 degrees with winds coming out of the southwest at about 10 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation will be 60%. On Saturday night, we should expect showers and thunderstorms in the evening with clearing skies afterwards. Our low temperature should be about 58 degrees. Winds will be out of the west to the north and shift to the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Our chance of precipitation should be 30%. And on Sunday, we should expect mostly sunny skies with a high temperature of 78 degrees. Winds will be out of the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for our 7 days, we should expect mostly sunny skies as the school week begins on Monday, with temperatures throughout the low 80s throughout much of the week. We should begin to see some showers and thunderstorms move back into the area by the end of the week on Thursday and Friday, with a high temperature of 84 on Thursday and a high temperature of 83 on Friday. I'll be back later on with a short forecast for everybody. This is Matthew Seedorf reporting for Fast Track Weather.
That's all we have for this week's edition of Fast Track. I'm Molly Shaughnessy.
And I'm Tommy Bear. For these stories and more, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our YouTube page. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next week.